that's perfect. Oh, wait. See Roz over there. Alfred. I'm so excited. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, no, thank you. I'm thankful to them and everybody else. That's really dope as our audience comes in here. Did you drive? Somebody told me you were from Little Rock.
I am born and raised.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
I was born in the east side, so
Of Little Rock?
off Crosby Street. That's where I was born.
So I'm an East End girl.
Really?
From 901 Pickering.
Oh,
Mhm.
803 Crosby.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm an East End girl from 901 Pickering. And then as we get started, I'm going to share some other things. I was reading through your bio. You and I have a lot in common. Like a lot in common. I do small business coaching.
Oh, wow.
And so entrepreneurs who want to start their nonprofit, start their business, I kind of help them develop a plan and coach them through it. So when I saw that on your thing, I don't do it as much as I used to. When I saw it on your thing, I was like, this is one dope chick. I see you guys started. Oh, that's good. Crystal, my cousin. I see you guys coming in. Welcome. You know how I am. Good morning and welcome. Well, good afternoon. I'm typically saying good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Conversations with LaKisha. I'm going to talk to you about my special guest in just a minute, but I want to encourage you and remind you that his grace is sufficient for you, and it works out all of the kinks and the things in between. And as I was studying, or I'm just getting to first meet her, reading my bio of my guest, I could tell that there has been a sufficiency in his grace for you.
Absolutely.
Like nothing else. And so I want to introduce you guys to Glenda Johnson. Say hello. Hello.
Family. Hey.
And welcome to Coffee and Conversations. Thank you for the opportunity to interview you. And thank you to my brother and sister Roz and Alfred Warren for connecting the dots. I truly believe in providence. I know you guys met through providence and divine appointments. And here it is again. I'm getting to interview you through providence and divine appointments. So I got to start with the question that I ask everybody. Who is Glenda Johnson?
Oh, first let me say, LaKisha, thank you so much for inviting me on your awesome show. I've checked out a couple of your interviews. They're actually fantastic in providing a platform to give space to voices that nobody would probably ever hear before.
Thank you for
But
saying
that's where
that.
the power is. The power is in the masses. It's not always on a platform where everybody in the world can see, but that's where doing work in the trenches, that's what changes the world.
That's good. Thank you for that. That means you saw that. 'Cause that's the whole goal of this, to tell the story of the people, of the unsung, but just the story so someone can identify with that. Because if you've been through what I've been through, then I'm more likely to know I can come out because you testified on my behalf. So who is Glenda?
Okay, so Glenda, I try to not do things by telling you my title of my company or what I do at work, but I probably am a woman that now I have learned that every day is a new day. So I'm a woman that believes in finishing grace.
That's good.
Moving grace. I didn't just get through it. I want to go on and just be the best me that I can in God and in my life on all my platforms. So I'm a Southern girl.
Okay.
I was born and raised here in Little Rock. Hey, The Rock. I'm from here.
That's good.
I like cornbread dressing.
Yeah,
and
baby, me too.
Whatnot.
I love it.
But a friend of mine called me a bougie country girl.
Okay.
So I do like to. I'm a corporate person. I have 30 years in corporate business. I'm big on family. I love the Lord. And through a series of issues in my life, just life, I have learned more about who I am, and I have decided that I like her.
That's good.
I like her, and I'm embracing that. And the biggest thing probably about me now is that I am losing my fear. Certainly
good.
reverencing
That's
God,
good.
but losing my fear of
Glenda,
possibilities,
powerful.
right? The possibility
That's
we
powerful.
all focus on is what bad could happen. But man, so much good stuff can
happen.
And I'm learning now to just recalibrate my thinking into that good things are supposed to come to me.
Yes.
Yeah, some bad things are going to happen.
Good.
That's life. But now I'm like, okay, I'm opening the door for this good stuff because, I have kept calling the bad stuff over and over because I think about it and I focus on it. And
That's
you know how
good.
we do. We talk about what we don't want. We never talk about what we do.
That's powerful.
Now I'm just actually changing my language to talk about what I do want, and that's how we bring it to us.
So let me ask you, word. That's powerful. So what motivates you? Like, we all have our triggers or our things that we look for. What really motivates? We know God, but like, what motivates you personally? What's the thing that makes you get up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm going to try this again, or you know what, I'm going to step outside of?
What really motivates me to my core is I love to help people. And everybody has a lane that they can walk in when they help people. But I would say there's 3 lanes that I walk in, and that's mentorship, ministry, and the marketplace.
That's good.
Once I figured out,
good. 3 M's. That's a real triple M.
Once I figured out how God wired me, and then looking back at my history in life, what's happened to me, maybe some things that I have done, and the experiences and how they've shaped me, that's like my 3 lanes. I'm on a 3-lane highway, and these are my 3 lanes, and I vacillate in between these lanes. So it's mentorship, ministry, and marketplace.
You said something important. You said the way God wired you. What do you mean by that?
The way God wired me is that I'm always looking for the good in people. There's always, even after you settle it all out, there's always good stuff left. So what's that good part in you, and how can I help? So mostly you'll see me say, well, how can I help?
Oh, that's powerful.
What can I do? How can I help? And so that he zones me in to see something like, ooh, do you see that little speck on them? Somebody else thinks it's a piece of trash, but it's a nice piece of metal, and it's a nice piece of maybe it could be a stone or diamond or something. Yeah. Somebody else saw something insignificant, but I saw something like, wow, that's pretty interesting. Yeah. How can I help? So I kind of walk in that lane of how can I help?
That's good too, because that means you're always looking for opportunities and people and circumstances and situations, and I really admire that. You and I share something in common. You're a widow.
I am.
I heard that. Tell me a little bit about what that was like for you, making that transition, especially in a season of finding yourself, or what. Tell me what that was like for you. Well,
okay, country girl, southern girl, youngest of 10 children, very traditional mom and dad. So dad was already, I won't call him an alpha male, but he was the man. He made the decisions. He worked every day. And my mom ran the house and raised the children in that sense. My dad was a strong disciplinarian, made great decisions. So as the youngest and the surprise, I'd say I was the best surprise of my parents. But as a surprise, all of my brothers and sisters, some of them were old enough to be my parents.
Yeah,
but everybody tried to act like my parents.
Yes.
But and so looking back at it today, I appreciated that love and attention and care. So when I got married to a man, he was also a decision maker.
Okay.
He knew who he was even in his early years.
Yes.
So I appreciated that great level of leadership.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so after 22 years and 35 days, he passed away from Lou Gehrig's disease that he had for about 4 years. That was hard because I was used to being in a connected relationship where I was a helper. I was a helpmate.
Yep.
I added value.
Yep.
I assisted.
Yes.
I throw in good ideas to your big idea.
Yes.
And I was used to being around someone who was always looking out for my good, who was always going to say, you're awesome here. Let me help you go here.
Man.
Or, we're in an apartment.
Yes.
I see us in a house.
Yes.
Our very first new car. That's what I was used to. So when I became single again.
To leadership is what I call it. You're used to leadership. You're used to someone leading you.
Not that I can't do it.
No.
Because while he was sick for 4 years, guess who worked every day?
I get it.
Guess who made sure the insurance was in place? Guess who made sure that we had the greatest health care? Guess who did all of those things? You worked. I think he was sick for about 4 years. And I think probably maybe 2 or 3 times was I never at home. I think I left to go to my brother's funeral, and I had to go to a company thing. So maybe 2 times out of 4 years was I not at home. So I worked every day and took care of him at night. So maybe about 3-4 hours of sleep a night for about 4 years.
I understand your story.
A progressive illness. So my point is, can I do it? Yeah, I can do it. But I was so used to having that kind of synergistic relationship. And you have to know how you're wired as a woman. Okay?
You do.
So if you want an alpha
That's
male,
real good,
sorry,
baby.
you
That's
can't
good.
go boxing with the alpha male.
No, it's never going to work.
Boxing with
It's
a leader.
never going to work.
Someone's going to have to play a complementary role.
That's good.
And if that's not your style, then probably you want a beta male, a man that.
Oh, y'all better be taking notes. I hope y'all taking notes, because you really telling the truth, and women will tell you, I want a strong man, I want him to lead. But if your alpha personality, and I always say, won't let you bow down, you're gonna be in trouble. In my house, my husband used to say, executive decision made, and I know what that meant. Shut up. Executive decision made. And the minute he said executive decision made, I just said with my arms crossed, because I knew what that meant. That meant it ain't no more conversation. Yeah, fine. We done talking about this. That's good.
But then that goes back to you picking, you being the chooser, you accepting to choose to be in a relationship with that man that's an alpha male.
Hold on. Pause. You said something very important, because I just talked about this week. She's all in my vein. I just talked about this, that we still choose, right?
Yes, we still choose.
Well, why is it women are sitting around waiting on them, that they believe that they are the only person that's chosen? I keep saying that we still do the choosing. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad you emphasized. But go back out. I told y'all that we choose. Yeah. We have the ultimate to choose. You don't have to accept everything that comes to you.
No, you don't. And then too, we also get in this false narrative of, after so long, he's going to see my value and see who I am, and he's going to change. Just assume that this is what you got. This is the best it's going to be. Mm. If you can't deal with exactly how he is right now, I'm talking about not after you. I mean, like today. Mm-hmm. If he said, I do today, this is the best it's going to be. Why do I say that? It's because when we're dating and courting, we're always still trying to put our best. My hair be a certain way.
Yes.
I'm trying to get cut. I want to look a certain kind of way. He's trying to impress you. You're trying to impress him. Mm-hmm. So pretty much that's going to be almost the best as far as my intentions and my true desire to get you, to obtain you. But once we get married, I'm going to be comfortable and be myself.
Because I don't have to do the work.
Yeah, because I want to say, well, look, we're committed. Why do I have to continue? What if I get fat? What if I lose my hair? Mm-hmm. We don't want to have to perform for people that we say we love or people who love us. So just know, don't think that you're going to get them and they're going to change for you. Ooh, so they're going to get better. They're going to get whatever. You got to just know, while you're dating, this is the best it's going to be. I'm not saying that life can't change you, but please don't think that you're going to tinker with them and they're going to come your way or satisfy you more.
So let's speed up a little bit. So your husband has passed.
He's passed.
You've left the leadership, and if you're just logging on, this is my special guest, Glenda Johnson. And if your husband has passed, and you're in this place of where were you mentally?
Wow. When he passed in 2008, I think I stayed in the Bermuda Triangle for like a whole year. Church, work, home. I stayed there. That's where I stayed. I was thawing out. And I say thawing out because I had gotten myself in a space where the care was so intense. You didn't have time to be whining. You didn't have time to be,
we could write a book together. Okay. You don't have time.
So you just buck up and you go do what you have to do. So I had gotten into this tough, hard space just to survive. So it took me a while to thaw out, and just
become feminine again. Become a woman again.
Yes. And so I remember one of my very good friends said, "Hey sis, my wife is turning 40 and I want you to come to the party." And it started like 9:00. I was like, the party starts at 9?
I ain't going nowhere at 9. Sounded like me. You were in a rhythm.
Where have I been for 20-something years? The party starts at 9:00.
Yeah.
And so he was like, yep. And I said, well, he said, no, you're coming. You're coming. Mm-hmm. So I didn't even have any party clothes. I had nothing.
Yep.
I wore the same clothes I wore to church. I could wear them to work. Then at home, I had sweats, T-shirts, and sneakers. So I didn't have anything in between. In my mind, I wasn't even engaged with someone of the opposite sex. Mm-hmm. So I met someone who became a very good friend, but I was just scared to death because it had been over 20 years since I had a date. Yes. I didn't really understand today's dating scene, culture, that kind of thing. And I was in Dallas. So that's not really the South. That's the Southwest.
Yeah, it's different. Okay? Dallas is
People
a different
from the
culture.
South, guys from the South, you pretty much almost going to know what you're going to get, right? When I say that.
I'm trying to keep my face straight because now dating, It's just a different perspective in the South.
In the South, well, maybe that's changed. But when I was dating, I married a Southern guy. He was from Mississippi.
Yeah.
So they just, they're going to come and step to you.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. So I'm going to tell you now, it's a little bit different. Men are not as assertive as they used to be. I'm not saying, based on my experience, I'm not going to say all men. I've run into a lot of men who are dealing with broken things as well. And so they're not as trusting. So it's changed everything. So in the process of this widow, what was the moment? Like for me, it was some things that happened with my kids. What was the moment that pushed you out of the Bermuda Triangle to say, you know what, I've got to get up, I've got to live again, because if not, I'm just going to be in this space. And there's always that defining moment. And for me, like my son called and said, you're a better mother than this.
Wow. Because
I had small kids, and he was like, you're a better mother than this. And I'm watching you, and I'm watching my brothers and sisters, and they're not, my brothers, and they're not getting what you gave us right now. And I was coming home from work, laying in the bed, just existing. So that was my defining moment when he said that. That's it. I got to get back up and figure this out. What was your defining moment?
My defining moment, probably, there were two things. One, in the business field that I'm in, I had a client that I was working with, and his wife had passed away, and they had small kids. Maybe about a year and a half later, maybe not even 2 years, I saw him again for another issue. And I said, well, how are things going? And he said, I got married. Less than 2 years. So this man had put his wife in the ground and met and married somebody in 2 years. I'm still trying to, okay. So I didn't even have my head open. I didn't even have my heart open, ready, creating a space in my life and in my spirit for someone to come in. Did I want them? Yes. I just didn't know how to go about it. And so one day I was just looking at the church's website, and they had a singles ministry. So I looked at the button, and they had some pictures of an event that they had. And I was like, oh, man, they all look like they're having so much fun. They're adults, and they look good, and they're having a good time. So I went to church that Sunday, and lo and behold, there was a table. I was like, oh, the singles ministry. So I put my name on the list just to get emails. And someone said, would you like to be on our executive team? That's the look I had. I'm like, you don't even know me. Like, you don't even know my name.
I love God.
And she said, oh, that's okay. That's all right. This is like a steering committee, a planning committee.
That's good.
And the word in my head said this. You said you wanted to meet people.
Yeah, that's good.
You said you wanted to meet people. What better way to do it to be on the leadership team? I remember saying, I felt like I was diving off a cliff. Like, seriously, that's how I felt, because that was a big step for me. So I said, okay, and that was the beginning of my journey with the singles ministry.
That's good, and we're going to get into that in just a second. And it's funny because those pivotal moments always change us. My next pivotal moment, my 4-year-old, he got a little bit older. I think he was 5 at the time, sat on my lap, and he says, Mother, I'm going to need a daddy. He said, my dad in heaven was great. He said, but I got to need a daddy here because I know I need a daddy. Yeah. And if you met him, you'd be like, yeah, he needs a dad. Like, he knew that. He knew at 5. He was like, I don't need to be raised without a man. And then we were at home one day, and he said, and he was older. He was 7. And he said, look, if you don't get out of this house, we're never going to get a dad because you just sit here with us all day. And I was like, what? And he was like, and then a commercial came on for blackpeoplemeet.com, and he was like, you could try blackpeoplemeet.com. And then my older kid that was in the house yelled out, well, let's do Christian Mingle. So those were the moments that led me to know that they were ready to see a different dynamics. They were so used to family. So you brought up singles ministry at the Potter's House. Tell us about what you do for the Potter's House and the singles ministry.
Wow. So this has been my 8th year. I'm going from director now to more of an advisory role.
Okay.
But what I have loved about the singles ministry, I've spearheaded a leadership team of different ages. So it's 20-somethings all the way probably up to 60-somethings. And you'd be like, that's such a broad range of ages. But the truth of the the matter is, if you're a millennial, you're going to stop being a millennial around 35 or 40 years old. You could be single for the rest of your life.
Yes.
So we created a platform to where you're going to learn to stop making the same mistakes at 25. Some people are making the same mistakes at 55. And so we're trying to help them grow. We're helping them do personal responsibility, start loving yourself again based on your actions, knowing who you are.
That's good.
So when you create an asset within yourself, when someone gets you, what do they get?
Ooh, that's good.
Why are we always talking about what he can do for me, what she can make me feel? What do they get when they get you?
Yeah, that's
so
powerful.
We take that approach
that's
to really
powerful.
Living an abundant life in Christ.
Yes.
If you're doing it yourself or if you're doing it with another.
Yeah.
So just being an asset, when you create that asset and you do really well, if you buy a house and you fix that thing up, you're going to love it, whether someone else comes to live with you or
that's
not.
Good.
And so that's how we try to build on we edify ourselves up from that perspective.
That's good.
Yeah.
And I think when you build from that perspective, then you change. When you make connection with someone, then you're whole. If you're not whole, it's very hard to go into a relationship broken, because then you guys are trying to merge in a marriage, but also deal with your brokenness. When you're a newlywed, I'm not saying you're not going to deal with brokenness, but when you're a newlywed dealing with brokenness, when you really need to start trying to learn each other, it makes it a little bit more complex for you. So that's really good. What are some of the activities you guys do in singles ministry?
So we love to take the approach from the practical and the spiritual, and in doing so, we have topics that are about building up your spiritual man. We have prayer calls. We do all those kinds of things, and we don't play with tiddlywinks when it comes to singles, because you could get in a place in a single life where you may never come out again if you're getting to some tough places. So
I've seen some people like that. Yeah.
So I say we certainly handle the spiritual side, being healed.
Yes.
Also handling our problematic areas. Yes, sex is one of them. You know, we want to be whole in that area, but also just wrong-headed thinking, thinking that the other opposite sex is your enemy, always pointing out what's wrong with them.
That's big.
And the way we use our words. So our words are very powerful. So if you always say men don't ever and women don't, women or whatever, you're going to have what you say. So you keep talking about the same wrong-headed things. That's what you're attracting. That's the word. So we talk about that. But then on the other side, we know that if you're in the Bermuda Triangle, we're going to get you out of that Bermuda Triangle.
Because it's not going to work for you. I had to start trying a new thing every week to get outside my box, because I was like you, church, work, kids. And one day, actually, my mom blessed me. She came to me and she said, "Baby, it's time for you to live." Because my husband had sickle cell anemia and was sick. I cared for him almost the entire marriage. And she said, all you've done is take care of him, take care of your kids, and you've not yet lived. And so I made it, like I do everything now. I zip line. I haven't went skydiving yet. I ride quads. I horseback ride. Like I go every week and try something, even foods. I've even eaten kangaroo. I'm not sure I like it, but I tried it though, because it was like, okay, I'm gonna try it. So that's good. I want to talk a little bit about your business. I have the heart for entrepreneurs and for individuals. I told her when I was reading her bio, I'm like, she's my sister. Like she's my sister for real. I mean, she's a widow. She's complimented me in so many areas. I'm in ministry. This was really big. Tell me about your business and this small business solutions. Like when I read through that, I was like, this is big, because I am for the entrepreneur. And a lot of us in God's system and kingdom don't understand that he created us to create something.
That's right.
So tell me about your business.
Well, I really operate in a really important, but then just one sliver space. I'm not I don't do business plans, and I don't help you do marketing plans, and I don't help you create a vision board, nor your graphics. What I do is help you become lendable, bankable. Okay, and so that's what I do. So I'm going to help you look at your financials.
Yes.
I'll help you create a team, because sometimes as owners, sometimes they're not even startups. They're actually mature companies, but they never get their financials under control. And so when they go look for a loan, the financials are out of order. So therefore, you can't get a loan. And you wonder, I've been in business 17 years. I still can't get a loan. There are reasons why.
Wow.
So I teach you to help pick your team. So you need a CPA CPA that gets your company, that understands what your industry
That's
is.
big.
You need someone to help you. If it is a marketer or let's just say an attorney, you need someone who knows your field, that kind of thing. And so that's what I help them pick. And then I say, let's look at what your goals are. Okay, I know in 2 years I want to buy a van to make deliveries.
Yes.
Not tomorrow.
Yes.
You need to know 2 years from now. So that's where your vision board comes in. But once you figure that out, what does it take to get there? I know the van's going to cost $50,000. Okay, well, let's look at your financials right now. A few critical pieces are your CPA usually does what you ask them to do, right? I don't want to pay taxes, so they'll make sure you don't pay any taxes.
Yeah.
But what that
Legally.
means is you will finally, legally, but even then you'll just show a negative, which means if you show a negative, there's no profit. If there's no profit, I can't give you a loan because you can't service the debt.
Yes.
Go ahead, show the profit, pay the taxes because you want to buy a van in 2 years.
That's the same thing for buying a house that a lot of people who are entrepreneurs and business people don't think about. They show the debt. They don't show the profit. And then when it comes time for them to look for funding for their house, same principle, you can't get one because all you're showing is debt. You got to show more income. What you're doing is essential because I work on the other side of this. I help people find their vision and put it out there. And then what they need to do is come see you so that they can get funded for it. Because I talk to people all the time, where's funding? And I do write grants. I don't write them as much as I used to. And people are like, where's a grant for this or where's funding for this? But when you start talking to them about their personal finance, because I always ask the question, what does it look like you pay your bills? And I'm not talking about whether you got debt. Some of us need more income just to get out of debt. It's not that we're not paying those bills. It just maybe we've accrued a lot of debt. But for those of them that can't handle their personal finances, I'm like, oh, you'll never handle a business if you can't handle your personal finance. So where would you tell someone to start with getting lendable? Where would be an initial start?
Well, I think the business plan is really crucial. And they can use people like you and your other kind of business consultants, or they can go to SCORE. Everyone has a local SCORE or a local small business development economic place.
Ours is this
SBA.
Arkansas SBA,
something like that. And you can go to those folks, and they actually have free services. They'll help you get your vision together. They'll help you go and market, find your demographics. They'll help you put a real business plan together that has numbers, which means you know your assets are, you'll know your expenses, and you know your revenue sources. So then you can say, well, how much did it take me to make that fork? Or it takes you this much to make this a widget or whatever. And then how much would take me to order staff or whatever. Basically, you know what the numbers are, and then you can say, well, shoot, I'm going to have to sell 5,000 widgets to make a profit.
That's so good.
You need to know the real ins and outs of your business.
That's good.
If you can't answer those questions, then your lender is going to say they don't really know their business.
No.
They don't know how long it will take them to break even. They don't know how long it will take them or how much revenue they need to generate to buy a truck or a building or whatever. Those are the things that are really critical. And yes, I'm good at making widgets, but you need to be a little good at knowing if your company is profitable or not. There's only maybe 5 or 6 ratios that you need to familiarize yourself with. Once you get those, you can look at your numbers every month and say, I'm not doing well or I'm doing great. So those are the kind of things that are going to be really important. Because in other words, if you don't know, then you don't know if you're being successful. You don't know if you're actually running in the ground or if you're about to go out of business because you don't know. So those few things is what I would do to help you. And then once you get your numbers, because I think even as a startup, once you see how much it would actually take you to start up the business, you might say, maybe I'll get a partner.
Yeah, and I always say find you a good mentor. One of my things is this coffee shop cafe that I am going to open one day. But I also, Jim Alley, a really good friend of mine, bought a coffee shop a few years ago, and he said, I'll show you my financials. He said, I'll show you my profit loss statement. You don't make money in coffee, LaKisha. I'm just going to be honest. But I've seen his business, because he's a man of God, really move, right? And so he said, I'll let you see my P&Ls so that you can have But I also had to go get the business knowledge so that I understood what he was talking about when he said P&L. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not educated, and we want to do kingdom, I'm big on kingdom. God assigns us all to our influence, our areas of kingdom, but we don't want to go get information. And one of the reasons I think minority businesses fail all the time is because we don't go get bigger information. And so I'm going to hire you to consult, but I really want you to do the work for me because I hadn't really got that information, and I need to be able to have a conversation with my CPA and with everybody else. Read a book. I mean, it's not hard to go get a book or watch a YouTube video. When I wanted to learn investing, I started watching YouTube videos on the basics of investing so that I could understand what a margin was, what a profit margin is, what really happens in the stock market, what is a dividend, what are those things. I went and got the information so that I couldn't be ignorant in what I was trying to accomplish.
And can I say one more thing about that?
Yeah.
You can even have all those numbers, but your timing is wrong. For instance, let's just say there's a widget maker on every corner, and you want to open up another widget making business.
Yes.
Or their widgets don't sell here. They've never sold here.
You need to know your market.
You need to know those kinds of things and really understand your vision and what it is that you're good at.
That's good.
It may be that it's not the time, or right now, you know what I'm saying? There could be many, many reasons. Yeah. So it's not just, is your credit good? It's not just, you know, this is how much money it would take. But if there's not a supply or demand for what you are creating, you have to be very, very clear about that, or something that's going to make you extremely unique and make everybody take a fresh new look on widgets. That's
powerful because God, I'm a seer. Like, I see almost 10 years in advance, no joke. And one of the things that I had to do for myself was timing, praying and really laboring that thing and learning to put it before God and say, are you saying now, move in this now? I was very clear when he told me to start Coffee and Conversations. There have been some other things he's given me. I have a journal that's written, that's copyrighted. It's called the Get Fit Project for Girls. He hasn't let me release that yet. You understand? Like, it's still just sitting there, and I wanted to jump at it. He said it's not time. When it's time, I'm going to give you the person for it, because I know I'm not supposed to I'm apostolic in nature. In some ways, I create things, and then he gives me somebody to turn them over. And so timing is essential in everything we do. So just because God gives it to you, you got to spend enough time fasting, praying, and before him to say, when do I move in this? Because if I move in this premature, I'm going to create a baby, right? I'm going to create a premature baby, and taking care of a premature baby is much different than taking care of a fully developed baby. True. Or I'm going to launch too late, and I'm going to be mad at myself because I'm going to see somebody else doing something that I wanted to do, and I didn't move in it. And when God needs something done, he'll put somebody else in position because you're not bold enough or big enough to move into that place. I am so grateful you are here. That financial piece sparked something in me, and talking about finances and talking about how to be lendable, because I'm going to tell you something else. God only turns the kingdom over to the mature ones. And as we become mature, then he's going to give us the resources and the things and the people that we're going to connect to. But if we're not mature enough, lendable. See, I got something out of it. I see something in everything. If we're not lendable, then how can I turn something over to you? If you can't sell me on the vision. I ask people all the time, what do you do? What is it? And they can't tell me. Like, I could hear your stuff flow out of you. If they can't tell me, like, it doesn't flow, I'm like, you're not sold out on this yet. Because it's never will God. God will.
Yes.
Right? It's never will God. God is giving you something, God will. It's not whether or not God can. Most of us will believe can, and this woman shared that with me earlier. It's will. God will do exactly what he told you, even exceedingly abundantly above all we ask. That's Ephesians 3:20. So, where are you right now in life? What's going on?
Wow. Where I am in life now is I'm actually getting ready to create my own one-day conference. It's going to be a one-day intensive.
Oh, that's
good. It's going to be in January, JUMPSTARTING, the new year, so JUMPSTARTING You, and it's going to be a great full day. I'll call it a 3-ring circus. In other words, a lot going on. So we're going to talk about 3 lanes. For instance, the life, so it's business, career, and life.
That's
so
good.
on the life channel, it's going to be Route 66, which is, Route 66 is a historic highway that used to pass all the way through the United States. And that's how your life is. So if people who want to jumpstart, they're stranded, they're stuck, they're stalled, and they need to go from stranded to strategic success. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing on the life on the life lane.
That's so good.
And then people who want to jumpstart their careers. Sometimes we make some bad choices choices in our careers. We don't really think that what we do can impact where you're going. I live in Dallas, Texas area. Do you know that's a small area, as big as it may appear to be?
It is.
Because now I've been there 15 years. I've worked for several banks, and Bob over here used to be the manager. Well, he's over there as a senior executive manager, and he's over at Wells Fargo. So what you do, and this appears to be a big space, it can be a small space. So the way you behave in all these places, the person who you didn't like might be your boss.
Wow.
Just a few years down the road.
That's why you don't burn bridges.
Yes, and don't burn bridges. You build them. You don't burn them, you build them.
Yeah.
And so we'll have career coaches, we'll have resume people, we'll have real people in the business teach you the dynamics. And even though you're a millennial, it used to be your accolades. I used to work at ABC Company for 19 years. Millennials hop maybe 3 to 5 years. So that has kind of changed, but we will talk to you about being strategic about that, okay? And so that is life in the fast lane. And then the third lane is the superhighway, which is business.
Oh, that's good.
And we'll talk about startups and also starting overs, or even expanding your business, and we'll have all kinds of professionals there. And then I will keynote speak, because those are the lanes that I have walked in my life.
That's powerful.
And so I'm excited about that.
So if someone, tell me how someone can get in touch with you.
You can go to my website, JUMPSTARTINGU, www.jumpstartingu.com. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook, JumpStartingU, the letter U. You can reach out to me at info@jumpstartingu.com. And I will reach out to you. You can reach out to me at 214-444-8589. I offer consulting services, so in those areas. And I'm actually penning my first book right now.
Oh,
so
I love
that'll
that.
be available. I'm creating workshops that will also be available at
good.
the beginning of the year. We will start off 2019 in a manner that we haven't before, because it's going to be so intentional. And I have found out, as many of you, this is what I'm finding out, is that I tried very hard over the last 3 or 4 years trying to fine-tune my vision and just stay in this one lane, and I really tried to. But because of God has given me these really ingrained experiences that I wouldn't have even thought I would walk in them.
Yes.
They came and got me. I didn't ask for them. So I thought, well, you know what? I have learned a lot, and I'm going to walk in my strengths, which again is going to be the marketplace and ministry and in mentorship.
That is beyond phenomenal, because we all are interrelated. I said this earlier, interconnected and interdependent upon each other. And I'm telling you, we need you. We need you, Kingdom, because most of us don't understand that ministry. Even for those of us that are in ministry, we limit ministry just to preaching to people. And if we're going to be true Kingdom, ministry should own businesses. Ministry should help their people to develop and be lendable and have businesses. We should be teaching debt-free life. We should be teaching living by sowing. There's just so many things that we need to, but if we don't put ourselves in a position, get this kind of information, connect in those places, we'll keep repeating these same cycles, and then our communities are not growing. Small minority communities don't grow because of the lack of information. We stay so lukewarm. We stay so uneducated. Not all, but that's what's keeping us from growing healthy. Things grow. And how do you get healthy? By getting the right nutrients, right?
Yes.
Which is just like information in your body. Do me a favor. Leave this audience with something. Leave them with a word of encouragement or something that's just a little bit a part of you, so that they can take that with you.
I'm going to leave this with you. I want you to take the bookmark out and turn the page.
Oh, you're going to make, see, they know. Oh, okay. Oh. Glenda?
Just do that. Whatever the issue is, take the bookmark out of it, turn the page. And it will fit everywhere you are right now in your life. And I'm only telling you what I'm actually employing in my life, and it has made me so much richer.
That's powerful.
We don't have to always say hope unanswered makes the heart sick, because we're stuck and we keep waiting on that one thing to happen. Honey, take the bookmark out and turn the page.
And because sometimes it's just in turning the page. It's just in letting go of that thing in that past. That's powerful. Take the bookmark out and turn the page, because it's sometimes in just flipping that, turning that, making that turn, that everything new will be happening to you. You said that something else big earlier. You said you're learning to push past that fear, and we all have to overcome the fear of the unknown, fear of what won't happen. And I always think to myself, if I don't do it, am I going to regret this later? I read a book, If by Craig Groeschel, and he talks about your what ifs, right? If your what ifs only become ifs only. Like, if only I hadn't. And I don't want any if only I hadn'ts in my life. I don't want to leave here and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't live big. I didn't love out loud today. I didn't take a chance. So that's good. And you just helped me on something. I'm going to write that down when we get off here, because there's a part in my life that I know I have a bookmark that I need to take that bookmark out.
And let me just say this last little thing too. LaKisha, as you were talking, it reminded me of something about the what ifs, or the fear, I believe, is not what if I fail. And this is what I have learned in my business, launching this business. How can it take you 3 or 4 years to launch a business? I went through that about 3 or 4 years in preparation to launch this thing. Okay. And even in love, again, it's not that we're afraid to fail. I think we're afraid to succeed.
No, I believe that.
Because if I get a man, if I start this business, will I be able to handle it? Will I be able to handle the growth? What if he sees, my warts, whatever? Are you afraid to succeed?
Yeah. No, and that's big. And I think when we encounter people, sometimes I don't want to experience, I don't know, like sometimes we so settle in what we didn't have, or we're comfortable with.
In love with lack.
And we love, girl, I'm trying to be like in love with lack. And so we'll be in a relationship with somebody that's half the relationship we could have, versus walking into the fullness of what God is trying to do. And God just ain't no halfway God. And I don't know where we settle, but this lady said something to me so powerful earlier today, and it really stuck with me. She said God dealt with her, and this was Angela Thomas. I interviewed her earlier, and we shut the camera down, and she just said, I need to share this out of my heart. She said, God told me, it wasn't that I didn't believe he could. He said, it wasn't that I believed he would. And I said, Angela, she said, it wasn't that I didn't believe that he could. She said, I really wasn't believing that he would, that I didn't believe he was worthy enough to bless me at this level, that he would give me a business or a thing that was this great, that he would give me the love of my life that would know how to be in tune to everything. Like, I never believed that God could. That's what she shared, and I said, that's big. A lot of times we like, oh God, we know you can, but we're so scared, will you? And then I think that's how we learn to live in lack, because we don't think God will. Like, we don't think he will. And so we learn to live in that lack thereof, because we really don't think that he will.
Yeah.
And God is saying, I will. It goes back, Ephesians 3:20, exceedingly abundantly above all that you can ask. God is looking to immeasurably. He wants to knock your socks off.
Yes.
Like, he's waiting to knock your socks off if you just believe in the can, but also that he will. He'll knock your socks off. Yeah. Thank you, Glenda. Thank you. All the way here from Dallas, Texas. Thank you for sharing a little bit of your story. I could talk to you all day long. You are such an amazing woman. And I want to tell you something. All that I kept thinking is when you were talking, this is a P31 woman. This is a P31 woman. You have the attributes of a Proverbs 31 woman. You have I was like, man, she's got the attributes. She's working. She's in the field. I don't know if your house is clean. I'm going to assume that. They know. I'm going to assume that. I don't know if you can cook, but if you're a Southern girl, it got to be in you somewhere. So this is I'm like, this is a P31 woman. This is so dope. So I'm so proud of you. I'm so grateful here. I'm so grateful that after your husband died, that you didn't just lay down, that you got back up, and that you fought, and that you're being a service in the kingdom. Well, guess what? We are out of time. Thank you for tuning in to Coffee and Conversations. Please make sure you check her out. Like, you better connect to this woman. This is a powerful woman. She's going to help you become lendable. There are so many of you out there that need this thing to pop off. You've been waiting on it. You know you need the finances. You know you don't have them. Doing the work on your end of becoming lendable is your faith statement to God. That's what your faith, it's the faith statement. It's the move. He's just waiting on you to jump out that boat. Part of that is getting everything in order so you can be, hey, I'll see you back here Monday morning at 5 a.m. for this fresh devotional. God has been doing such a thing on Coffee and Conversations. So if you haven't been watching, go back. Last week we talked about dating, and I shared some personal things I was like, "Ooh, Lord." Some personal things that I went through in dating. I don't know what he's going to do this week, but I'm believing for an inspiring time with him. So I'll see you guys back here Monday morning at 5 a.m. Love, peace, and blessings.
Thank you.
Thank you.